All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, fellow Pandemonium travelers, this is Seattle Pandemonium Shutdown Day 332, I think, by my count. Maybe. So what's going on? What's going down? So we've got, oh God, it just, I mean, on the one hand, there's so many things, while on the other hand, there are so few things. In reality, maybe more is less, less is more. I don't know. What we're doing today on Twitter, apparently, the left and right have clashed in the tweets. So I covered this yesterday, and actually I put a correction on my post yesterday, about the dust up at the Capitol back on, January 6th. Apparently the officer, what's his name? Sislik something. Anyways, that officer who perished the next day, and this is what I got wrong, he is in fact the officer that was seen getting kind of bludgeoned with a fire extinguisher in some of the viral videos you may have seen. The issue is the medical examiner has to issue a cause of death, and I understand this might sound like splitting hairs here, but they're saying no, he died the next day, possibly because of injuries related to getting, being in the scuffle at the Capitol. But they haven't stated that yet. And you have other people trying to attribute, deaths that occurred weeks later with the Capitol incident. And it's like that, I'm sorry, you can't do that. You can't say, oh, well, you were there, a month ago and then you died. Unless we're talking about asbestos or something and mesothelioma, there's nothing there. This is just a media concoction and a confabulation, a media creation. Let's just cut through all the nonsense. Just call it a media creation. And okay, that's my correction. Is the officer was the guy being hit in the head with fire extinguishers, with a fire extinguisher in the Capitol riot. And I'll call it a riot. But as I covered yesterday, you have this AOC person who got elected to Congress, which makes me kind of believe in democracy, I guess, in the sense that you can convince people to vote for you and you can win a seat in the House of Representatives at the very least. Possibly the Senate, I guess, if you tried real hard. What's that? That Eric Swalwell guy who I despise? He's an idiot, I think. And he's in Congress. So what's holding you back? Just don't feel like beating the streets, beating the pavement and getting out there, getting your votes? I don't know. You can call me out for it. Kyle, why don't you run for something? I joked about running for mayor of Seattle. People would probably try to kill me or something, but, because this is the West Coast. This is reverse man in the high castle. Or wait, maybe it is. No, it's reverse man in the high castle. Right? Anyways, no, you have Jack Posobik, who is a right-wing provocateur. I don't mean to denigrate Mr. Posobik, despite his ethnic handicap of being Polish. He put some arrows down on a map, okay? Put some arrows down on a map of the Capitol, and this is what I think I said yesterday, which is backed up by other people's statements, which is that AOC was not in any danger at the time of the Capitol riot, and in fact was not in the Capitol building when the rioters started to enter the building, and so her whole story is getting Jussie Smolletted online, while at the same time other people are saying that this, what is it called, Woodlawn? Is it Woodboard? Woodlawn? Woodward? A wood something building is actually adjacent to the Capitol building, and that's where she was, and that's where Nancy Pelosi's office was, or is, and that there were protesters, rioters. I'll say rioters. I don't care. They were rioting. It's fine. Rioters were entering that building that is adjacent to, across the street from the actual Capitol, the Congress chamber, the rotunda and all that. So they were breaking into another building, is what that's the claim, is that, oh no, there was like another building that was also being broken into, and that's where she was, and that's why she felt threatened. So it's not that there weren't rioters there, it's not that she was in another building, therefore there were no rioters, so she wasn't in danger. The issue is, go. What are you doing? I get you're from California, but you gotta step your game up. Anyways. So it's possible that, because there are pictures of people in Nancy Pelosi's office. So that would mean that people stormed this other building, but still, the only people who were hurt were protesters. Okay, I mean, police, okay. But, the only people who died were protesters. And, again, this idea that the guy with the flex cuffs was going to come in and take all of the Congress and Secret Service and police hostage after the police let them into the rotunda, and they were again, smoking joints and taking selfies, and that one guy's wearing buffalo horns. This whole thing is stupid, and what you have, this is why people think that we need a reality czar. The reality czar would dictate what is true and not, based on what people are saying on the internet. So, on the one hand, you have this idea that people with political motivations can make up stories. So AOC can make up a story about how she was frightened, and there's really no way to prove whether or not she really thinks that she was in danger and was frightened, and this was all a very big deal, and she was traumatized. There's literally no way to prove that, short of Elon Musk's, Neuralink thing that he's working on. That they allowed a gorilla played a video game with another person or something by having his brain plugged into a computer. This is awesome stuff, but also scary. It's gonna get worse. This is coming. You can't stop it. What is being alleged is I was very frightened. Therefore, we need to make sure that we don't do that again. And if you question the legitimacy of that fright or concern, then you're diminishing women's trauma or some, okay, whatever. This all boils down to who was where and when. And I've seen competing claims, okay? Now, I haven't done an architectural analysis of the different buildings on the Capitol Hill. Oh, goodness. The Capitol Hill area to determine what office, protesters were in, what office was Baked Alaska in. Why do I have to know who this person is? because I'm forced to. I'm told, here's the guy. It's very important that you know who this person is and that they were there. Okay. So that the media can cement a white supremacist insurrection, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Fine. Yeah, that's what you want to run with. It's tired and boring, and I'm not that interested, but okay. I'm forced to be interested because you insist that this is true and real and very important. Okay. So, which buildings were occupied by whom, when, and where? And what then does that mean for AOC's level of fright and trauma? And this is what the media narrative has become centered around, is how much Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez was frightened when people were doing a thing that is frightening, but may or may not have been doing that frightening thing near her. So she's either injecting herself into a story where she is frightened of things, where she's either injecting herself into a story where things were happening, and then she's making it about her, or this thing was happening near her and she was really frightened, and then we have to determine whether or not that level of trauma, and I'm going to go air quote trauma, you know, as somebody who's been around live gunfire, not at a gun range, you know, like shots fired in anger, my sympathies are a little bit lacking, maybe, but according to other people's, you know, standards. I don't know. I'm watching people die in front of you. I'm hearing people dying over the phone. Sorry, I'm not necessarily moved by you feeling uncomfortable because a police officer came to make sure that you were okay and told you to go to a different building. That doesn't qualify as frightening to me. Anyways, that's enough for me for, Wednesday? Day 332. Bye.